Hello YouTubers, it's JSky91 here. It's pretty late where I am right now, so my voice might sound a little bit raspy. It's like 4 a.m. and I've been making videos for you guys all day and practicing a bit. I haven't had much time to cube recently, so I'm trying to compact all my cubing / video making into small periods. So today I'm going to make one last video for you before I go to bed. And that video is going to be on color or cross-color choice. So I am color neutral when I choose my for CFOP, sorry. And because of this, that means I have one of 6 different crosses I could choose. And I always, go about choosing crosses that are generally pretty good, at least most people have told me. So I figure I'll give you guys a quick tutorial into what comes into my head when I choose a cross. People ask me all the time how I choose between all 6 different crosses in under often under 3 to 4 seconds, just so because I can choose my cross very quickly. And I'll go through, teach you guys real quick. There are basically 5, categories of crosses that come to mind when I am choosing crosses, and I basically work my way down from the most beneficial crosses to the least beneficial crosses. And I just go for whatever is going to work best. So I'm just going to be randomly scrambling here. As random as hand scrambling could ever be. I'm just throwing in some key rotations in there just to make it as random as possible. And I'm not going to be planning any of these, so I'm just going to hopefully run into the 5 things I'm talking about. I normally do. So the first thing I always do when I get a cube, regardless of whether or not I see something that looks really nice or anything like that, is I always check for pairs. So a pair is a corner and an edge that have formed together like this. This would be what I call a pair. It's an F2L pair. But it's also could be part of a cross as well. It could be multiple different things, but it's just specifically this pair. And the way I go about choosing and looking for pairs is I use a simple little bit of logic here. Okay, there are only 8 corners. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the same on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4 here. So assuming that I look at all 8 corners, I could immediately tell if there are going to be any cross color, if there's any pairs on the top. As long as none of these colors match, none of this corner color match with any of the edges, immediately not a pair on that layer. If one does match, you just simply check to make sure that it's not, that they're not the same, which they're not, and then it means that there's no pair. Then flipping it over, I can do the same thing here. Okay, I see that there are no pairs. The only other possibility is that a middle layer ended up with the edge, which is generally rare. Normally you have them on top and the bottom. And that would be easily seen as you were viewing viewing the crosses right here, viewing the corners. So yeah, I have one pair here. And so what I do is I find that pair and I immediately start thinking, okay, now there is this pair, and this pair can be used for 3 different colors. It could be used for red, for green simply as a F2L pair, for red as a cross-forming pair, and for whites as another form of the part of the cross as well, the bottom portion. And I actually see here that red would be the easiest. Right there. I can just toss that in this place. And that's what I basically do. I see which one of those it looks like it's going to be easiest and which one looks like it's going to involve as little thought as possible so that I can execute it very quickly. Finger trick ability and the ability to look ahead are far more important to me than X crosses. I do X crosses very often, but that's because I practice them. So to me, I look at this and I go, okay, well, it looks like I'm going to be using this for white. If I do this the right way, it'll end up with white on top, or I could be using it for green. So if I want to use it for green, it looks like things are not going to turn out too well. So looking at white though, I see that white pieces look like they're decently lined up. Ooh. So what I can do here is pull that one up, down, down, and then I can just place that in. And as I'm placing this in, oh look, I got double X. That was totally not planned, but yeah. Okay, and let's go ahead and do another example. So that was if I had a pair, I find the pair. Now that's only if I have one pair that I do that right there. That I'd look at that. Okay, let's just keep scrambling until I get some pairs. Come on. Okay, whatever. So let's say I don't have a pair. The next thing I do is I look for the cross that can be solved using as few gens of movement as possible. So gen of movement would be R, U, F, B. Any of the faces count as an individual gen of movement. So this is the R gen, that's the U gen. And so I look around here and I say, okay, well, it looks to me like green, red, can't speak right now. Red can be done using 1, 2, 3, 4, and I already used this one, so just 4 gens of movement. And the advantage to the, I think that was right, I don't know. The advantage to that one too is it leaves the portion that's back here intact. So I probably would end up going with something like that. And I could very quickly move into my first pair because it was so easy to predict what was coming. Because it was so because it had so few gens of movements. So yeah, let's go ahead and try another one. So again, next thing I look for is which one has the fewest gens of movements. Okay, no luckiness here. Okay, if all the crosses are kind of hard and or they require quite a few gens of movements, then I probably would just go ahead and go with the cross that looks like it would be easiest. So conceptually, the one that I can put together in my mind with as little trouble as possible. So something like this blue one, which is really easy to do. Okay, that's already an opposites, that's an opposite. Simple R prime D2, F, R2. Okay, in my mind that was really easy to keep together, and sometimes it's better to just have a really easy cross than to have a cross that's a little bit harder even, but that won't allow you to look ahead. Because of that, because how easy that cross was, I would have been watching and found my first pair almost certainly. So yeah. Let's go ahead and try another one real quick. So look for the easiest to solve conceptually. If there are no low gen solves or no low gen crosses and no pairs, I look for the one that solves in the fewest or in the easiest way possible. So here I see I have another pair. I have 2 pairs. Perfect. Okay, I was going to say for the sake of it, I want to put another pair together. So another thing I do, if I have 2 different pairs, I always look to see if there's a common color between the 2 pairs. So for instance, this pair I have here and this pair I have here both share the color blue. So I think to myself, is it possible that I can make both these pairs on blue? And if it's a pain in the butt, I don't. But if I can, then I go for it. And so for instance, let's see here. This one could be made decently easily. As particularly, I could use this as a pair. Just simply take it out of my way here. Actually, if I were... Yeah, if I've been smart, I'd do that. Take it out, so now it's up on top here. And then I could do, let's see, that, and then all I needed in order to finish this pair off was that pair right there, and I could put it in. And then, oops, it looks like I messed it. Okay, there we go. So yeah, double X cross there, and I was all working from whichever one, from trying to utilize both of those pieces together, or both of those blues together, because I noticed that the blue was the common shared side. So let's go ahead, try another one real quick. Let's see here. So if there are no easy crosses and there are no pairs, in this case there's a pair here, so I would probably go through here and look, okay, which color do I want to use this pair on? Okay, I probably want to use this pair on blue, because there's a lot of blue around, or just use it as a simple or yellow pair would be the 2 probably easiest choices. I see that the edge that needs to go here to perform a blue pair is right there, which is a very simple little one. I haven't gotten to that one on my X cross tricks, but that's just a simple little one to memorize. And because I had that together, I can just do that, and now I'm building my cross. And then, yep, and then so I do sometimes just do some haphazard stuff at the end. If it's gotta happen, it's gotta happen. And yeah, so again, there I was just utilizing the cross piece that was there, and trying to see which cross could be built with as few gens of movement as possible. Now, if none of the crosses are there and none of them seem easy, I go with the cross, and this is just a default. If I run out of time, or if none of the crosses look easy, I go with the cross that looks like it has the most pieces done. This is probably what most of you do as it is right now. And so if we're looking around here, we see I have yellow looks like it's got the most looks like it's got a decent amount of pieces on it. Blue's got some. White looks like it could probably be done very easily, but that's just planning ahead into crosses. White would probably be the easiest choice here. But if I were out of time, I would go with yellow, because all the yellows are right next to each other. And this would be like my wing it solution. So I would just kind of go at it and hope I would get it well. And so I would, and I could totally do this one. It's not too hard. Oh wait, sorry. Maybe I can't. And then I can just follow through there and start forming my pairs. But sometimes it's more important to make sure that you have a cross done and that one that's doable. Very lucky. Then that you have nothing at all. So worst case scenario, you just go with the cross that has the most colors on it. So starting off, we always look for F2L pieces. If those F2L pieces if we see more than one, we see if they share a common color. If they don't share a common color, I just go for the one that looks like it'd be easiest to do. If they do share a common color, I try and make sure that I can build a cross that'll preserve them both. If not, if it's too hard, I don't, but I try and keep an eye on where that one is. If there are no X crosses that can be made, or no F2L pairs that can be preserved or done in anything like that, then I go with the cross that looks like it can be done with as few gens of movement as possible, so I can predict as much as I need to as possible. If they're all requiring large gens of movement, then I go for the cross that looks like it can be done the easiest conceptually, so just the one that has the simplest solution in my mind. And again, this is choosing between ones that all look somewhat easy. I only look at the ones that pop out as such. And if I still can't seem to figure out anything and I'm down to last case scenario, I just go with the cross that has the most cross pieces on it and or the pieces closest together, because I can just wing it and throw them all together at the last second if I needed to. Won't have much look ahead there, but at least I'll have a cross that's done. So that's kind of what goes through my mind. Let's go ahead and do one more example. Hopefully I can catch something else in case I'm forgetting something. But yeah, let's see. So looking here, check my four corners. There are no F2L pairs that I can work with. So now I'm going to move on to, do any of these look easy conceptually? No. Most of these do not pop out immediately as being easy. This is a great example, actually. I'm glad I did this. This is a horrible, horrible cross. Not a lot to choose from. So there's no easy cross, and if there's no easy cross, there's probably no easy to few gen cross. So I pretty much am going to go, and I wouldn't necessarily do this, but for the moment I'm going to go with the cross that looks like it has the most pieces surrounding it. In other words, most pieces that are easiest. So I see here all the reds are right here and here. Very easy to see, and if I needed to, if I couldn't complete a cross, I could just conceptually keep this in my mind and do it. And I can just come through there. Oh, actually, if I were smart, let's see, I go there, 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 and then to finish it off. So that was another example, and that was the worst case scenario. That happens maybe 1 out of every 10 to 15 solves where there's just nothing lying around, and you've just got to kind of look at all the crosses and find the one that's easiest. But in general, I'm not looking at all the crosses. I'm looking at the ones that stand out to me. So if a cross doesn't stand out to me, I might miss a simple solution. But honestly, I probably wouldn't, simply because a simple solution is one that fits into one of those 5 categories I mentioned before. So I hope that helps you guys out. Please rate, comment, subscribe. Thank you.